one of my all-time favourite legends associated with Wolverhampton Wanderers is a name that perhaps many fans, certainly most fans I would say, would not be familiar with. The Reverend Kenneth Hunt. He was born in 1884, died in 1949. And this book, as you can see, is a photocopied version. Some years ago, Graham Hughes, who was the club historian, sadly passed away himself. He was a lovely man. I was with him, we were at Molyneux, and he showed me the original book that he's got that was written in 2001 by Pat Quirk. And it tells you, put my glasses on there, it tells you on the first page, October 2001, and Graham himself gets a mention there. And he said to me, I've only got one. How much time have you got? I said, I'm okay, Graham. And he got one of the girls to photocopy that for me, and he's put together in the book. And the Reverend Kenneth Hunt played for Wolves in the early years of the 20th century. And he actually featured in the 1908 FA Cup final. And this is a replica shirt that he would have worn. In fact, you can see there that he's got that particular top on there. This was a replica shirt. That's what is now the city, of course, was a town then. That's the crest. No sponsorship, no names or numbers on the back, just the shirt that people wore. And of course, tied up there in that style as well. And Wolves faced Newcastle United, and Newcastle in that particular period featured in 3 cup finals in 4 years, didn't win one of them. And against Wolves in 1908, they were the strong favourites, and they battered Wolves from the start, but Wolves held well. And it was at Crystal Palace, 75,000 in attendance. And right towards the end of the first half, Kenneth Hunt himself let rip with the only goal he scored that season. It shows, doesn't it? It's about quality, not always quantity. Beat the keeper, that spurred Wolves on. A couple of goals later, and then Newcastle hit a consolation in the dying minutes. And what's interesting about that particular cup final is that all 4 of the scorers, their surnames began with the same letter. Hunt, Harrison and Headley for Wolves, and Howie for Newcastle United. And Kenneth Hunt's story is particularly interesting because the Reverend Kenneth Hunt, he was a church minister. And just off the ring road on the A41 in Chapel Ash, there's a church building, sadly no longer a church, but there's a blue plaque there commemorating the fact that he was based at that particular church. And he pursued a football career alongside his ministry. He had a passion for faith. You can read that in the book, that comes through, but also a passion for football as well. And he was ordained initially as a deacon, then he went on to further ordination, but he was ordained in 1909, and he actually played for England, full international cap level. He played for England because he also had amateur caps as well, but he played for England in 1911 against Wales and Scotland, so 2 international caps, and he was actually a reverend at the time. Imagine that happening today. Of course it wouldn't. Football has changed very, very much over those years, and after his time with Wolves he moved on, but he never lost that passion, and he used both his faith and football to harmonise together to communicate the message that he got across. He lived to be 65 years of age, died in 1949, and he died on the 28th of April, just 2 days before Wolves were in another FA Cup final. So from 1908 to 1949, barren years as far as appearances in cup finals were concerned, but Wolves got through to the final that year to play Leicester City. And Kenneth Hunt was due to go. He was a member of the FA Council anyway, so he had access to those types of games, but there's absolutely no doubt about it, he was looking forward to that one in particular. But sadly, just 2 days before the final, which was on April the 30th, 1949, he'd had pneumonia and he wasn't necessarily expected to be passing on at that time, but sadly he did. And he was never able to make that particular final to see Wolves lift the trophy again after all those years. 41 years later, they lifted the trophy. A great story and a great life. I've given a condensed version there, but a fantastic inspiration, particularly to me, with not just the Wolves connection, but also the faith one as well. And that's why the Reverend Kenneth Hunt is in my top 5 of all-time Wolves legends.